everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Reflections to Breathe. My name is Sylvie, and yes, that is an alias. So what is Reflections to Breathe about? Well, it's kind of complicated because it encompasses a lot. It's about weight loss, it's about weight loss surgery, it's about bariatric information, it's about sleep apnea, it's about my journey to get healthy, and you think, well, wouldn't weight loss kind of cover all of that? And yes and no, because you can have severe sleep apnea and be skinny. You can have severe sleep apnea and be fat. Um, Weight loss can kind of be related to bariatric information and weight loss surgery, but it's so much more than just that. And it's about me, and it's about me sharing my information with the world. Um, and I should add a huge disclaimer. This is just for educational purposes only. Please do not do any of this without the supervision of your doctor, because I am, or at least I will be. uh, but the reason why I'm doing this is because, well, it actually started with my son. I'm going to call him Cub. And when I first had Cub, he seemed a rather healthy, strong boy. And he is. But he started having some problems when he turned about 2 or 3 years old. He started developing a kind of a chronic nasal drip. And it was fine for a while. His pediatrician just said, give him some Zyrtec and it should be fine. He was too young to have an allergy test, but the Zyrtec should have handled most of it, and for the most part it did. But then last year he started going to school, and that's when the problems started. He started having a lot of colds and coughs, and and they actually got so severe that he actually had to miss school, and it got to the point where the school was saying, hey, mom, dad, it's cool that you're getting him seen by the doctor, but he's missing a lot of school, and if this keeps up, you actually may get seen by the prosecutor and CPS, because that's how much he's missed. So we took him to see the doctor again, and they referred us to see an ENT specialist because it got that bad. And that's when we actually found out his tonsils were actually on the medium to large side, and they were actually preventing proper drainage down from his nasal cavity, I guess, down here. I'm not entirely clear of the whole anatomy thing, but so he had surgery, removed the tonsils, removed the adenoids, and some third aspect that I'm not clear of. And it worked. It resolved his sleep apnea, it resolved his chronic drip, and it drastically reduced every issue that he was having. And now when he does have a cold, it's a proper cold and not because of his chronic drip. And he no longer snores, he's sleeping better, he's not having, exhaustion tied to sleep deprivation that's tied to sleep apnea. And I was just like, this is incredible. My son is healthy again. And that's when I took a long look at him and I said, hey, doctor, do you happen to see adult patients? And they said, yeah, we do. So I asked if he could see me, because I've been dealing with also the same issue as my son, chronic nasal drip and severe sleep apnea, that even with a CPAP I've been having problems. And they said sure. They saw me, did a whole CT sinus scan. So other than a severely deviated septum, which is like way out here, well, maybe not that far, but like out here, they noticed a couple other problems. They had a copy of my sleep study, and they said, okay, yeah, you could definitely do with a surgery to fix your deviated septum. You could definitely your tonsils are also rather medium large, and they could fix that. But that's when the doctor said to me, "Well, here's a problem." And I looked at him and I said, "What do you mean? What's the problem?" And he said, "Your insurance is going to deny the surgery for your throat because you're too fat." And I know I'm a big woman, but this is the first time I've ever heard of insurance saying no because you're too fat. Other patients bigger than me have had surgery elsewhere, gallbladder removal, endoscopy, colonoscopy, pregnancies, no problem. Why this particular one? Why is my throat being a no? And from what he was able to explain, because the anesthesia required would put me in such a state, and it's such a delicate surgery, one mistake could kill me. And because it's such a delicate area, they would be too anxious to approve. I would have to lose a bit of weight for them to approve it, and until then, the answer was no. I'm sure he could fix the deviated septum, he could do everything else, but not the throat. And that's the issue I have. My sleep apnea is severe. The CPAP cannot help me. I've been dealing with it for 4 years. I've seen every single doctor I could see about it, a respiratory therapist. They've offered sleeping pills, which I refused because of Cub. And there's nothing they can do. It's very obstructive. It's the construction of my throat. It's the throat that has to be fixed. So what do I do? And I told this to the doctor, and he said, "Have you considered bariatric surgery?" My first response was no. I'm not going to do it, because there are so many things that can go wrong with bariatric surgery, and it's not something you can change your mind on. There's no going back after you've had it. And there's so many complications, and it's scary. He must have spoken to me for about 30 minutes, and he encouraged me to at least meet with the surgeon, just to go to his seminar, which is what they do the first time for first-time patients. And if I'm still not sure, then that's up to me. But it's either that or I live with this for the rest of my life. And it's a big decision to make. So I'm a little uncertain right now, a little scared. But that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be going to the seminar later this week, and I'm going to listen to the doctor, see what he says, see how I feel. But I have to do something, because I can't live like this. I have to be able to breathe. And that's what sleep apnea is. It's your body's inability to get very important oxygen while you sleep. And if you don't breathe, you don't live. And I want to live. So don't forget to breathe. Welcome to my journey.